mean, no matter where you look, we have this illusion, we have this facade. People forget that it's a facade and they get stuck in it. They have to go above it. They have to go through it. They have to get up to that oversoul level, up into God-mind thinking. They have to look down and see it. And when they realize that it's all just a puff of smoke, they'll get back to where they're supposed to be. They'll get back into their true self and into their frequency. Will this happen? I don't know. To be honest with you now, my feeling is our hope of change is really at this point, because the Illuminati is excellent at long-term planning. We are excellent at short-term planning. We are a day-to-day type of population anymore. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to feed my family? We think about maybe as far as the next year, maybe 2 or 3 down the road. The Illuminati plans for decades, for generations. They're not good at short-term planning, but we are. So as we get closer, as they get closer to meeting their goals, this is where they lack their expertise, and this is where we have that opportunity, that window of opportunity to jump in there, to take control of ourselves, and therefore to get control of our planet, of our reality back again.
And that's what we're going to, the next level of what we're going to discuss, creation, frequency, and creation of reality. How does that work, Janet?
Well, first of all, you have to find out who and what you are, so you start taking out what you're not. And what I often tell people is you have to go back usually to under the age of 5. And we have lots of exercises in our books and our DVDs and our seminars that teach people how to very easily do these things. We've got one book, it's $10, called The Hyperspace Helper.
Right.
And if you can't afford our books, you can go to the library and rent them for free. So I don't like it when people say, oh, we can't afford this, we can't afford that. That's an excuse. You know, people spend that much on a carton of beer and a pack of cigarettes and a lunch at McDonald's. They can afford a $10 book, or they can walk themselves to the library or call and have them order our books in for free.
True.
So they can easily get the information. We've got the exercises that teach them how to get back easily under the age of 5. Take a look at what you were first imprinted with your parents, with your caregivers, with the things that happened to you when you were very, very young. And then what happens for most people is they begin to replicate those experiences throughout their life. So they really have the same experiences over and over and over and over again, but with different people. It could be with their spouse, it could be with their partners, it could be with their career, it could be with their neighbors, on and on and on. But it's really the same song, different verse. You got to go back to the beginning. You have to go back to the original imprinting, and then as you pull that out and you get rid of it, then life clears up. You can again see through the chaos. Your chaos begins to have an order, and once you have order in your chaos, you know how you got to where you are. You can unravel it. You get back to who you are, who your source is, and when you know who you are and you're clear on that, you're clear that you're already connected. You're clear that you're a powerful person. You're clear that no one can control you. You're clear that you can make a difference in your life and therefore in lives of others. Then everything changes. And there you have it. You're done with all these outside distractions. If you don't buy into it, if you go to the store and you don't spend your dollar on plastic cheese, trust me, they're going to quit making that.
That's true.
And your dollar at McDonald's are going to go away. You know, if you think, hey, I'm not going to buy into these false puppet leaders anymore, they're going to go away. But you have to first find out who you are. And it's extremely simple. It's extremely easy. And it doesn't cost a lot of money. I tell people, you already own the most powerful tool that exists, and that's your mind. And most people don't use that.
Right.
So you use your mind, you use that most powerful tool you have, and you're ready to roll. You can go anywhere, do anything. Quit using other people as excuses. Quit using what the Illuminati is doing as an excuse. That's an excuse not to fulfill who and what you are. That's an excuse to hide from yourself. That's an excuse not to be what you came in here to be. Stay where you are. You don't have to go on a mountaintop. You're here for a reason. You set up your family. Don't hide from your family. You set up your friends. You set up your neighbors. You set up your job. And then you moan and you whine and you complain about it. Stop it. Stop and look at what you've done. Figure it out. Figure out right now wherever you are, and your life can change immediately.
Now, in regards to frequency, and you mentioned about going back to the age of 5, is certain frequencies or in the way that our families orientate us from the age of 5 and in our home environment, do those, first of all, those would obviously or would initiate frequencies. How do we, for example, if we discover that those frequencies have been debilitating, even for myself, there's a way that you have to go about moving beyond that. but not in a way where you hate your parents or you hate your family, but you simply have to find a means or a balance in how to transcend that. Is that true in terms of really finding that frequency from that early in life?
Actually, it's a lot easier than what people want to think that it is. And to me, it's a way of hiding from yourself. And I have people who come to my classes, and when I get them down into that, oftentimes people will leave my classes because they don't want to go under the age of 5. They don't want to go back and look at the pains. These things happen. They built up their scar tissue over it, and therefore they say, okay, leave it alone. Why do I have to open up the old scars? But you know what? You're always going to have scar tissue until you clean that out, and you can heal it as if it never existed. You can keep the experience, you can keep the knowledge, but you can release the pain, and you can release the traumas that were put in there. So you quit reliving them. You quit recreating that in your life. You have to stop that imprinting, the cycles that kind of run themselves and self-perpetuate after a while. So under the age of 5 is when and oftentimes even in utero, that's when people are imprinted from there up until the age of 5, and the rest of their life runs and self-perpetuates from that. So yes, we have exercises. I mentioned the Hyperspace Helper book and Decoding Your Life. Those are the 2 basic books that people have. They can change their life. They don't have to do anything else ever again. But those 2 books are guidelines full of exercises that teach you how to get under there, how to deal with the imprinting, how to deal with the trauma and the things that happen. And you begin to understand when I realize this is what I'm doing now in my life, and this is what I do, like in my consultations. And Stewart takes the approach a bit different, but we always wind up, it seems, with the same conclusion, is we take a look at your life and we help you understand how you're replicating what happened to you from the age of 5 and under.
Right.
And once you understand it and you understand the reason and the purpose for it, then you can start to let it go, and you quit replicating that, and you quit recreating that in other areas of your life, and your life can become smooth. Your parents, you chose your parents for a reason, for the lessons that they could impart to you. So regardless of how challenging they were, you chose that. And so it's up to you to, first of all, appreciate and acknowledge what they did for you, because you know what? It takes a lot more guts for your parents to play the heavy than the one that holds and loves you. So a lot of people have a lot of issues with their parents. And that's what I tell them. Be grateful this person was willing to come into your life and play the heavy so you could learn whatever lessons that you needed to learn. And so look at them and look where they came from. And maybe they did a really darn good job considering what they grew up with. So we have to take a look at a myriad of things, again, multidimensionally, not logically, not linear logic, but multidimensional logic. Why did you choose this family? What was the imprinting that happened? What did you learn positive? What did you learn negative? Maybe you simply learned how not to be. And that's a big lesson in itself.
Right.
Break the cycles of the family. Make changes. You can do it.
So now there are obvious people who would disrupt an individual's positive frequency. Is that true?
Absolutely. They do it on purpose. But you know what? They do it to me all the time, and I use that as a challenge to grow. It's a bigger mountain for me to climb. It's a way for me to strengthen my muscles and gather more tools. Because when everything is status quo and everything is too comfortable, people don't change. And if you're pushed where you're uncomfortable, you know what? You find new tools. You do. When you get to the end of your rope and you tie that knot and you hang on and you think there's nowhere else to go, trust me, I've been there. You can go deeper. You can go farther. You can find new tools. And that's what people learn. That negative is a very powerful, strong teacher. We can't look at negative as bad. We have to look at it as a part of the God mind itself, which teaches us and moves us forward in a way we might not otherwise move forward.
So in essence, by us understanding how frequency is developed from an early age in life, we also understand on how we can create the reality that we want. Is that true?
Absolutely. You find out what you started, what you perpetuate, and you can change it, and then you can direct it. Self, oversoul, God, mind. That's the triad I teach. You get in perfect alignment with that. You understand your power. You start directing your life. You are in control of your life. Nobody, no thing. Self, oversoul, God, mind, working in the triad creates and does powerful things on every single level of your life. Every single cell, body, mind, and soul, family, career, finances, the world, political, geographically speaking, it's all reflective of your own internal power and alignment.
One of the things that I've done, and this is on a personal level, Janet, and I'm kind of cheating because I'm getting a little advice here on the show while I'm doing an interview. But one thing I've done is that I have adopted